Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We're going to be talking today about how you can securely leverage your cloud investments with two great partners, Hitachi and T-Systems. My name is Christophe Bertrand. I'm the Senior Analyst and Practice Director here at Enterprise Strategy Group, focused on data management and analytics. And I am joined today by two great speakers. Let's start with you, Arvind. Tell us more about who you are and what you do.
Definitely, Christoph. So I'm actually a chief technologist at Hitachi Vantara. I've been with the company for 9 years, and my primary focus is really looking at cloud service providers and then looking at our entire portfolio internally and offerings and see how we can bring those solutions to the market jointly with such as like with T-Systems, and you'll be talking tomorrow as well. And then within Hitachi as well, I've worn multiple hats, such as a senior product manager managing a global portfolio, and then also leading a technical experts team. So over tomorrow.
Thank you, Arvin. And hi, Christoph. I'm the VP of Cloud Services in North America for T-Systems. I'm basically responsible for delivering end-to-end cloud solutions that drive digital transformation in different industries such as healthcare, energy, and manufacturing in North America.
Thank you, Mauro. Thank you very much. Look, we have quite a bit to cover today, but it's really super interesting. Why? Because a lot is going on in this market now, and everybody wants to know how to really maximize their investment in their cloud and hybrid environments. So I'm going to provide you with a market overview of what we're seeing here, being a research firm, and also then how that now can be executed upon with the partnership between Hitachi Vantara and T-Systems. We'll have some recommendations for you, and we will definitely give you a lot of insights into how you can seamlessly optimize your investments to optimize your digital transformation, because that's really what it's all about. So with this in mind, let's get started with some market data. We like to always refer back to the market because that's where we anchor our analysis. It has to be real data, and there's a lot that has been said around digital transformation. It's something we have been tracking for many years, as you can see on the chart here, and we think about it as essentially being a process that takes time, and there are many organizations today who are in what is called a mature phase, whereas a number of others are in flight. And of course, some are just beginning. The reality is data is the business. Digital transformation is not just a buzzword. It is actually what's happening in the market. And here what you see is where the majority of the market which is somewhere towards that more complete phase. But there's still plenty of work to do, as you can see. So in order to get there, there are a number of dimensions to consider. The reason why you do or embark on a digital transformation effort is for a variety of reasons. The first one is because you're looking for operational efficiency. That's the primary reason people told us they did this for. And by the way, the data you're looking at is really more of a popularity contest type of answer. Multiple responses were accepted. So it means that the first and most popular reason was what I was just mentioning, operational efficiency. That's key. That means money, and that means customer satisfaction. That means a lot of things. By the way, the ability to make data the heart of the business is very close as number two here, with the ability to develop new data-centric type of products and services. And you can see a lot of other very good reasons listed here. I want to mention also that there are lots of variations. Every organization is different, and every vertical, every industry is different. As you can see on the left-hand side, there are some slight variations that happen depending on which vertical, in which vertical you are. So this is perfectly normal. Your maturity will vary, your mileage will vary. It all depends on your business, but at the end of the day, data is the business, is what this is all about. So let's talk about where the data lives, because this is digital transformation, and there may be some assumptions here that everything is going to cloud. Well, yes, there is quite a bit that's going to cloud, and there are many organizations thinking that they have a lot of applications that are candidates for moving to cloud in the next few years. But in reality, what we see is that the infrastructure is evolving to be truly hybrid. with some data that will always remain on-prem, very likely, some data that will be moving to public cloud services, other data that will be moving to private cloud, etc. So generally what you can see here is you need a hybrid infrastructure. You need to be great at on-prem, you need to be great at cloud, and of course that has to seamlessly work. Easier said than done. Some of you will think, well, we'll talk about this with Hitachi and T-Systems in a minute. So for those organizations that want to keep applications on premises, you may ask yourself, well, why not move everything to cloud? It's elastic, it's easier, I don't have to manage it. Well, there are actually some very good reasons that are listed here. Again, here, a bit of a popularity contest. The first one that people have mentioned is very key. It goes to the heart of the interaction you have with your partners and your customers, and it's performance. Clearly, there is a need for high performance, and we'll cover some of that with both Arvin and Mauro in a minute. Cost is always an issue, but here's one that's very important. It sometimes is so difficult to implement and so costly, and you don't have the resources or people that you need a third party to come in and help you. So you look at all of these reasons and you can quickly realize that indeed you cannot just do this alone. There are very good reasons to keep applications on premises. Some of them you will need help with, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about in a minute. The other side of the coin is cloud. So what about cloud resident data? And by the way, there is a lot of pressure on providing data resilience, making sure the data does not get affected, does not get stolen, does not somehow get corrupted. And there has been quite a bit of data loss that's happened in cloud environments. As a matter of fact, we looked at that closely, and about 39% of you said that they know for sure that they've lost cloud resident data. How could that be? If it's your data, you should always know where it is. But again, with the influx of data we create every day, the amount of data that's generated by applications, both transactional and not, it becomes very hard to keep track of everything. At the same time, you have to keep track of everything. So very important data here. This loss of cloud resident data means there is something that hasn't been done quite right by the people who reported it. They maybe did not assess the infrastructure and their processes well enough, and that in turn led to this data loss. So on premises, flipping the coin again back to on premises, you see that there is definitely a sense that more effectiveness is possible. Is it because it's closer to you? Is it because it's within your direct control? There are lots of reasons that we could go through, but the point is, in the reality of what you told us is that on-premise data security is much more effective than what you can get in public cloud, or at least more effective in general terms. And that's why it's important to consider the fact that there is definitely an investment here and an assessment to be made. And maybe you need to consider a different type of cloud service provider to support your environment. And that means not only in the cloud, but also having some solutions that work both seamlessly on-prem and in public cloud or private cloud type of deployments. There is quite a bit at play, and it takes a lot of expertise and experience and many different types of disciplines to deliver a secure cloud resident infrastructure. That is, of course, for sensitive data. I would say for all data it's needed, but sensitive data is obviously more valuable, more prized, especially against the backdrop of ransomware that we deal with every day. As you can see here, to secure their cloud environment and the data in their cloud environments, many organizations turn to risk assessments. And I think this is as the first choice. I think this is one important finding here, because without having a good understanding of what data you have, where it is, what risk it really has attached to it, and therefore what attributes you need to develop to protect it, back it up, etc. It's hard to know what you're doing, and you're creating more risk for your environment. Of course, data encryption, good data governance, understanding the policies for access, identity management, etc. All of these are important too, and they actually rank really high on this list. I just want to point out that it takes a lot of capabilities and a lot of focus on multiple areas at the same time to be able to deliver a more secure environment for your cloud resident data. Cloud service providers are really good at this, by the way. They really excel at a number of disciplines. Monitoring is the top of the list, but I can look at this list and say, wow, this is exactly who I would want by my side, doing this for me, protecting my environment for me. And that's why we have this conversation today, the ability to get the best of both worlds here on-prem, in the cloud, and with a great cloud service provider. We'll hear a lot more in the next couple of minutes. Here's why it matters. It matters because ransomware is present. There's only one prediction or statistic I have on the future. There'll be more ransomware. So as you can see, most organizations have been attacked by ransomware, successful or not. But it turns out that in many cases, for those who have experienced essentially an attack on a regular basis, as you can see, the frequency is very high overall. Some of them have been hit more than once, and those are for successful attacks. So it's not a matter of if, it's only a matter of when. Let's be clear. And paying the ransom, if you think that's going to be a solution or a cost of doing business, it's not a good idea, because as you can see, very few organizations actually recover all of their data. And we don't even cover here how much time that might take. So the net is ransomware is real. It's going to happen to you probably multiple times. And relying on paying a ransom is definitely not a good strategy. So you need to build resilience in your infrastructure in order to prevent issues associated with ransomware. And the reason you want to do that is because your data is valuable. And ransomware attackers are smart. They're going to go after what's valuable to you to be able to extort money out of you. That's the way it goes. They are criminals. As you can see, it's not just IP that they're looking for or regulated data. It's also configuration, infrastructure type of data that they're looking for, because with that, they don't even need to touch the actual data itself. They can lock you out of your own systems. They can start exfiltrating data. So there's a lot more that meets the eye when it comes to ransomware and protecting the environment. It's protecting the data, it's protecting the configuration data, it's protecting everything that is mission critical to your business. And it turns out that if you had asked me before we did this research, what I thought would be number one on this list, which is the most common points of entry for ransomware, I would have bet ransomware would have come from an email or from phishing. And it turns out I would have been wrong. A lot of the points of entry are actually not end user created. They're actually part of the infrastructure already, because maybe there's some vulnerability in the in your applications in that software. Maybe there are some misconfigurations. Some permissions have been wrongly assigned and are exposing your access to your networks or your applications, or you have misconfigured some devices. The point I'm making here is that you need to really have a lot of expertise to look beyond the obvious. It's not just emails or endpoint security that will do the trick for you. You have to look at the infrastructure and therefore build, again, resilience in the infrastructure, whether on-prem or in the cloud. So at this point, I would like to ask Arvind from Hitachi Vantara to come in and tell us more about the partnership with T-Systems and why it matters to really deliver this successful and resilient cloud infrastructure and the seamless experience for the hybrid world we live in.
Yeah, fantastic, Christophe, and thank you for asking me that. So Hitachi is, as you probably know, we serve customers in nearly every industry and operate in many industries we serve. Our core business include mobility, smart life, industrial, energy, and IT. it's likely, and what we typically say is that it's likely that we have hands-on experience and first-hand knowledge of the challenges you face because our own Hitachi group of companies have experienced those same challenges. Now, Hitachi is also the 23rd largest company in the world, and we have technology companies, industrial companies, and also everything in between. But one thing we have learned on our own digital journey is that we can't go at it alone, right? So this is why we need our partnerships, and your organization shouldn't either, right? And therefore, working with Hitachi and T-Systems to leverage our insights and learnings so you can avoid the pitfalls and transform your business with success. Now, what's also important is I often like to tell folks out there is that, look, we've been, got over 110 years of experience in OT and also 61 years in IT, and that number is constantly increasing. The core of us is all about engineering and data, right? And that's who we have been. So when it comes to our joint partnership, one of the key things here is it's all about connectivity, digital solutions for modern IT, combined with hybrid multi-cloud infrastructure. That also translates into data management, power of excellence combined. So what is it? It's all buzzwords, right? It's all big words that we're talking here. So what does it really mean, right? As I mentioned, the core for us has been all about data, right? That's who we are, we're a data company. Look, if you talk about AI or if you talk about cloud or whichever direction you go, data has to reside somewhere. There's a level of performance and resiliency that comes with it as well. And our partnership with T-Systems has been so instrumental and integral in the industry because we're able to bring the industry challenges that our customers are facing and fuse the solutions that T-Systems are bringing, combined with the underpinning technology that we're bringing to T-Systems to deliver those solutions in the market.
Okay, so this is very interesting because I can see you really bring sort of the best of both worlds here together. You've been partners for many years, 20 plus years, so that certainly gives you a ton of experience and expertise in what happens across many industries. So let me ask you a couple more questions on this in a second. But fundamentally, what I'd like for people to take away here is that having these two global powerhouses here providing their expertise to support your problems and really giving you solutions that will work in a very hybrid fashion in this hybrid world, given the challenges that we see today with digital transformation and ransomware, I think this is exactly what I'd like to explore more. I think this is a great advantage. As I said, I cannot emphasize enough the need for expertise. Arvind, I'd like for you to cover for us this relationship between performance and resilience. How does that all work out?
So what if I told you when it comes to cloud with Hitachi DNA, it's a combination of both. And the core of our organization is always, and everything that we offer in the industry, think of it as the enterprise-grade solution that we've been offering, similar to our partner T-Systems, right? The solutions that T-Systems is writing on today, it's based on performance and resiliency, to be more specific. And Mauro will expand on that as well from his perspective. But more specifically in the industry, when we are saying performance and resiliency, what we're really talking about is virtualization, abstraction at the hardware level, right? And then dynamic data movement at the hardware level as well. And so what that really translates into further is that we can actually help customers migrate their data non-disruptively from array to array. We can also enable our customers to virtualize third-party arrays behind Hitachi. So it could be a diskless VSP concept or a traditional architecture itself. However, with all that being said, I think it's really important to realize, Christoph, is that when you talk about enterprise-grade cloud, without having our underpinning architecture that we bring forward from a performance and resiliency perspective, where data resides, and data still resides on a storage at the end of the day, right? It doesn't matter what the industry, how you want to slice and dice, because a lot of times customers will typically say, I'm just going to move to the cloud, and all my problems are gone. The reality is you just signed up for a lot more problems. And that's where our partnership with T-Systems plays an integral part, where we can give them an SLA beyond what the industry has been giving them, right? So we're not talking about 4 nines or 3 nines. We're talking about definitely a high SLA. So say we have 6 or 9, 8 nines, right? Is what we're referring to.
Okay, so Mauro, I'd like to turn it over to you because obviously we've been talking about the partnerships here, and I'm wondering what is your take first on what you just heard, and secondly, could you walk us through at a high level who T-Systems is and what you do and your infrastructure?
Sure. Thank you, Christoph. So we're a global IT services provider. We have a presence in over 30 countries and more than 28,000 employees worldwide. And we're part of the Deutsche Telekom group, right? And we're really focused on delivering high quality solutions, secure high quality solutions, I should say. And we want these solutions to maximize the value that organizations get from the cloud and from digitalization, right? We know how important these topics are today for pretty much any organization. And in order for us to accomplish that, we obviously rely on a few selected strategic partners, such as Hitachi Vantara. Right now, we're also structured in around four main portfolio areas, and those areas are advisory, cloud services, digital, and security. Right now, talking a little bit about cloud services, this is the area under my responsibility and the one that we'll explore in more details in the next slides.
Perfect. Thank you, Mauro. Okay, so you just talked about what T-Systems is and does and how you operate in a hybrid and multi-cloud environment globally. So I presented some data at the beginning of this webinar. How does it resonate with you? Is it something you hear from your customers often?
Absolutely. It resonates a lot, to be honest, Christoph, and it's exactly what we're seeing in the field as well, right? I would say top of mind for most of our customers today is cost management, right? And you mentioned operation efficiency as being one of the main drivers for digital transformation. So that's what we're seeing as well with our customers. That's what we see in the industry. And I would highlight as well a lot of organizations today trying to prevent platform lock-in, right? We know how easy it is to get locked in a particular platform and how difficult it is to get out, right? So these are, I would say, two main points. Then, but in addition to that, I would highlight as well the fact that a lot of workloads today of these organizations simply cannot move to the public cloud, right? These workloads are sometimes legacy or they are just not a good fit to the public cloud. But the organization still have a challenge to deal with these workloads. They want to modernize them. They want to still get efficiency from these workloads. And our answer to that is going hybrid. So in hybrid, you really get the best of both worlds, right? You can still modernize and shift your modern workloads to the public cloud, and then with that, get all the benefits from the public cloud and cloud native applications. But you can still get a lot of efficiency and a lot of new functionalities with a hybrid approach, with your workloads that stay on premise and your workloads that go to the private cloud, right? Obviously, you need to be able to manage these different workloads sitting on these different platforms, and that's where our expertise and our partnership with Hitachi comes into play.
So that's a great point here and a great time to really ask the fundamental question here. So how does the partnership between Hitachi and T-Systems actually help with digital transformation, with resilience and performance? Maybe you can tell us more, Arvind, about that.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. So everything that Mauro expanded on and Christoph, everything that you touched on, right? So touching back on performance and resiliency aspect, what we as our joint partnership then bring to the industry is 100% data availability guarantee and zero RPO. Those are big words, okay? So let me define them. Nobody in the industry today can actually go out there, none of the cloud service providers can get out there and say, you as a customer that is coming to them and says, I'll give you 100% data availability guarantee. And what it really defines is that if you were to sustain an outage, right, where your data resides, we say, right, through our partnership, that we guarantee you that when that system comes back online, your data is still intact. Now, what the industry is saying typically in terms of other cloud service providers, when it comes to zero RPO RTO, they'll typically say, we'll give you near zero RPO RTO. But truth be told, we're saying from our global active device architectures that we have, right, from Hitachi and the technology that T-Systems is leveraging from us today, we actually do offer you zero RPO RTO. Now, not only that, you touched on ransomware. Let me expand on that a little bit more. So from a ransomware perspective, obviously, there's a layer of software, right, that you can take and model so that you can have the ransomware protection. But what we're bringing from Hitachi point of view is a concept called DRU, a feature that's built in at the hardware level. So it's data retention utility. And so think of it as immutability of data, which we can actually enable on our arrays across our mid-range all the way to our enterprise grade, right? So that is right there. So think about a ransomware protection of the hardware that we can offer to you, right, in the industry. Not only that, I touched on virtualization and sweating existing assets, because when I recently was talking to one of the CIOs for a media and entertainment company, and one of the key things he said is that, look, we're in the process of winding down our colo space that we have, and we actually don't want to renew that, but we're looking to shift everything to cloud. So then that's like I said, wait, hold on. So what do you mean shifting to cloud, right? And what he said is that essentially, I don't want to pay for CapEx anymore. What I'm looking for is I still want a resilient architecture that we are used to running on-prem, but in the cloud. But there's a degree of challenge that comes into play. And that's where T-Systems is able to come in and fill that gap with us, right? Because T-Systems is familiar with our enterprise-grade solutions. Our customers are familiar with that enterprise-grade solution that Hitachi has been bringing. So with the combination of all of that, what if we can give them that same enterprise-grade solution in the cloud, which gives them the same level of resilience and performance, then as opposed to what other players are doing? And that's where we say also that this is a truly an enterprise-grade cloud in the industry that nobody else has been able to offer. And so that's where our uniqueness comes into play.
Yes, so it's really the best of both worlds. That's a good way of summarizing it. The Hitachi Vantara technology applied, in a sense, to a delivery through a cloud infrastructure that is optimized not only for it, but also for the various verticals that it serves. And that's really, Mauro, where I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about this. How do you get started if you're a customer with this journey?
Sure. It all starts with an enterprise cloud assessment, Christoph, because that's really when you're able to make sense and map out all the different application dependencies. You can really identify the constraints that you have to move some workloads to the public cloud, which applications, which workloads are a better fit to a private cloud or on-premise. So that's really when it's an eye-opening experience to most of our customers, because that's really when you're able to understand better really the complexity of your application workloads, right? And then with that, you're able to design a strategy, design a cloud journey, and create a business case associated with that.
And it makes a lot of sense to me. And really, when I think about what we've covered, it's really this idea that you can really get this enterprise grade cloud performance and reliability by leveraging, first of all, technology that is going to be meeting the requirements of very low RPOs and RTOs, be fit for ransomware, with a full understanding of what is available to deliver against those SLAs, and more importantly, that combination with the cloud delivery flexibility itself. Now, my view is this. Obviously, you have here all of the components between the two partners with the assessment that you just mentioned, Mauro, and as well as the technology provided by Hitachi Vantara. But I'm wondering, what would be your advice to customers? What would be the key takeaway from this session? What do you want them to do next? Maybe Arvind, I will start with you. What's the next step here?
Well, I think it's a fantastic segue into this. I would say, number one, look, if you are planning to move to cloud, hybrid cloud is the future, right? It's no longer a game where you everything goes to all your eggs in one basket, because you're going to get the complexities that you got to deal with, right? It's going to be enormous. So think of it in terms of enterprise grade cloud that you're used to running, just like you've been running everything on-prem. Now, the same feature functions in the cloud. Cost, as Mauro touched on the cloud assessment piece, right? Cost, how about if you be able to predict your cost monthly spends, right? From as you subscribe to more services, I think it's going to be key. And that's where our partnership can bring that as well. So if you're thinking about cost, better control on your cost models, right? The other thing is, it's also about really thinking in terms of your business continuity planning, resulting in disaster recovery, such as how are you going to really address that in the cloud? And that's where T-Systems and Hitachi brings that to the table as well. I talked about 100% data availability guarantee, zero RPA RTO concepts, right? Virtualizing and sweating existing assets and arrays that you probably spent money on, essentially. And so enterprise grade cloud, reliability, performance, data sovereignty is another big thing that is going to be important, because a lot of you touched on earlier, really want to be able to have control of your data. You should also understand that where does your data reside? Being able to see exactly what the architecture is. And that's pretty much what I would say. If you're thinking about all those things, you need to talk to us. We can help you.
Right. So Mauro, now let me turn back to you with sort of your closing thoughts on the topic. What would you recommend, as the next step for listeners here?
Thank you, Christoph. Arvind just mentioned the complexity that there is today around a cloud journey, a cloud strategy, right? And there is no single provider, no single company that's able to manage that entire complexity. So companies need really to rely on a solid partner ecosystem that can cover really this end-to-end complexity. And I'm really proud of the partnership that we have with Hitachi. As we mentioned, we have a long-standing relationship, and we have similar cultures, and we share same values around customer centricity, around sustainability, around delivering high-quality solutions. And that's why we're really able to manage that complexity with this complementary portfolio.
Well, thank you to both of you. Clearly, there is a lot to be learned here from both partners, I would say. Please engage with either Hitachi or T-Systems. Again, your data is your business. There are more resources available for you as well in the resources section. So check those out. And thank you to both of you for your time today. And thank you to our listeners.